Keep me company, breaking down, keep me company with the one who wrote it, Skyzoo. The first joint, community service, featuring the one and only J Rose. The idea behind community service is kind of similar to all of my other projects, where the opening record always tells you where we're going, as far as the journey, as far as the path. On this album, we're going here. Here's what to expect. Here's where we're going. Here's the GPS. That's what every first record on all my albums are about. And with this one, it's no different. So the theme song to The Wire is suited in the dress code for my mental attire, the season 4 edition. So what I'm saying in that, a play on the Jay-Z joint, the theme song to The Sopranos, plays in the key of life for my mental piano. So I flipped that, right? But I'm a Wire guy, and my stuff is more Wire than it would ever be Sopranos as far as what I speak about. And using the season 4 mode, because if you know season 4 of The Wire, it's about the kids and innocence and lost innocence, right? And a lot of my music harps on that, whether it was mine in certain instances or others around me. So I flipped that. The theme song to The Wire is suited in the dress code for my mental attire, season 4 edition. Young, new to tradition, but old enough where you could say young and new to tradition. Where's genius when you need them? So what I'm saying there in that first 4 or whatever, you look at young, new to tradition, like he's young, comma, new to tradition, but old enough where you could say young and new to tradition. Where's genius when you need them? So even with the Wire play, it's like they were young, but they were wise beyond their years and kind of grew up fast. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. Young, comma, new to tradition, but old enough where you could say young and new to tradition. Where's genius when you need them? So already we're in a double entendre mode, and as the listener, you're 4 bars in and you're like, damn, where's genius when you need them, right? Like, where's the Genius app that breaks it down? Where's that assistance to help break this down already? New V's and newer demons, old habits reborn and pledging you allegiance. I salute you with the Saint tap. You know, if you know Franklin Saint, of course, everybody knows my correlation with that from the Monica Saint album. And if you know me personally, I do that a lot. And it's funny, I was doing it before I had ever seen the show. I always, when I dap people up, I always tap. It just was always my thing, you know, growing up the way I grew up. So that's what I mean. I salute you with a Saint tap. New V's and newer demons. New V's meaning new cars, and newer demons, right? These demons that hit you because you want these V's, you want these cars. So now you being young, but growing up fast, you're seeing that, and already now you got these demons in you to go get what you think you need, right? To go kick in and take care of these desires that you have. So new V's and newer demons, old habits reborn and pledging you allegiance. Like they're, you know it the way it's like a pledge of allegiance to you. It's like something you would pledge to be able to go out there and get whatever it is that you're trying to get and feed into these desires that go outside in the street. And old habits, new V's, newer demons, old habits reborn, like things that you tried to bury, reborn. Old habits, you know, never die. So old habits reborn and pledging you allegiance. I salute you with a Saint tap. I never did a Maybach, but wrote for a few in the past who bought them cash. I guess we was going to have. And that's just a play on words, me being a ghostwriter and talking about, you know, some of the work I've done, some of the people I've been blessed to work with and written for. And I'm letting you know the level of clientele that I write for. The people I write for are the ones who get to go buy Maybach straight cash, you know, like it's that level. So just being fly, just a little bit of fly talk in the middle of the story. But I never did a Maybach, right? I've never had a Maybach. I've never owned one. I've been in a couple with the people that I pen for, but I never owned one. I'm on a different vibe. But in a way, I'm a part of that because I helped them get that by putting that pen together for them. So again, it's just a fly play on words. Wrote for a few in the past who bought them cash. I guess we was going to have. Yo, my ad made me look at a Jeep like a Ferrari, and still do for all the uniques that was in my lobby. And what I'm saying there, where I'm from, my Ave, my corner, my block made me look at a Jeep the way people look at a Ferrari. Like, yo, you see money come through with the Jeep with the top down, the doors off, speakers blaring and all that. Yeah, that's what it was on in my neighborhood. And if you know me, I have a Jeep. I have a Ford Wrangler. So, you know, my Ave made me look at a Jeep like a Ferrari, and still do for all the uniques that was in my lobby. Talking about unique from Power, Raising Canaan and all that. For all the guys that was like unique, shout to Joey. But all the guys that was like unique in my lobby that had that same aesthetic from that same era, from that same time period. in the early to mid 90s. For all the uniques that was in my lobby, Raising Scholar were weighing flowers seeded the party, right? Raising Scholar like Raising Canaan. So I'm trying to help you get it. When I say the uniques and I say Raising Scholar, almost like Raising Canaan, and those guys was raising me the way they was raising Canaan, just like the show title. So Raising Scholar were weighing flowers seeded the party. Flowers seeded the seeds with the flour, but also flour as in cooking up, blah, 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 saying that that's the era, that's the neighborhood, that's the setting around me. Raising Scholar where weighing flowers seeded the party and grew up with the bitches that'll geek you like they Cardi. So again, it's just a fly play on words where I'm describing the neighborhood and the scene. And if you know Cardi B's background of who she was before she became a star, I'm talking about girls around my neighborhood who was on that same type of time. So I'm saying there, I'm just painting the world that I grew up in, right? Painting the world and the people I grew up around, the people who were shoulder to shoulder with me, and the people who from afar had a hand in influence and impacting how I was raised, along with the family that I was blessed to be raised by and blessed to have in the house. Old version. And running shit back is the sole purpose. My Brody only care if the back of his stove working. Like the guys I grew up with, they only care if they got 4 eyes on the stove that work instead of 1 or 2, because they got a lot of work to do, for lack of a better term. My Brody only care if the back of his stove working. Too many pots, too many drops, too many nerds calling too many classics when like too many's not. So I'm saying there, he got too many pots, too many drops, right? Too much dropping in there. He got too much work to do, for lack of a better term. But then on the flip, too many drops, as in too much music coming out, right? Like too many pots, too many drops, too many nerds calling too many classics when like too many's not. You know, you see all the stuff on social media. You see everybody dropping and everybody gets praised and everybody is, you know, everybody's great. Everything's a classic. And I'm like, it's these nerd rap fans, you know, it is what it is. But a lot of them, I'm like, half this stuff is trash that heads is listening to. Like, so that's just the competitive side of me. Like, y'all calling this a classic? Y'all calling this great? Yeah. Are y'all serious? You know, but and it be kind of the nerd rap, right? So that's just me, you know, just poking a little fun and being competitive. I'm just like, really? Like, this is what y'all on? Like, too many nerds calling too many classics when like too many's not. Hoping all this shit is worth it when all of it's said and done. But it's based on a debate if your audience ever comes. Pause. So what I'm saying with that, hoping all this shit, being in this and fighting this good fight that I'm on as far as the music and the way I go about what I go about and the stories I tell and who I speak for, hoping this shit is worth it, knowing sometimes heads be looking at the bullshit, calling it classic. Sometimes heads overlook this or that or put too much emphasis in this when I don't feel that really deserves that. We hope that this good fight is worth it, right? Hoping all this shit is worth it when all of it's said and done. But it's based on the debates if your audience ever comes. All of that is based on if other people are championing it and other people are applauding it, right? Everybody waits for one person to jump in the pool first before everybody else jumps in the pool. Everybody waits to see if everyone else likes it instead of standing tall and just being on their own time. So it's based on a debate if your audience ever comes, pause, you know, do pause, comes, pause, and then restart. Still life street art. So if you know still life and painting, still life is, you know, bowl of fruit. You paint that, or, you know, whatever it is, still life. It's a style of art, you know, and then restart, still life street art. So what I'm doing, I'm painting street art that's still life. I'm, with words, painting my own versions of still life with the street, you know, with street art, looking out the window, looking off the step, being outside, being in that, and being able to paint that for the listener. Still life street art. Jump in where the beat starts or learn to take a key apart. So it's like either or, you know, like you either jump in where the beat starts, you either learn to kick a 16 or you in the street. You know, it's kind of like Big says, slinging crack rock, got it wicked jump shot. It's kind of my version of that. Jump in where the beat starts or learn to take a key apart. Sort of either ors that was all ducking police cars who found love stamped on a pill that looked like sweethearts. So the either ors, you either on this or you either on that. But we always ducking police cars no matter what, because the police ain't look at us no different. Whether I'm rhyming and my man is outside doing X, Y, Z, they look at us the same. So sort of either ors, all the ones around me that was in that same type of time, sort of either ors that was all ducking police cars who found love stamped on a pill that looked like sweethearts. Sweethearts is the candy, the sweethearts candy. And if you know anything about pills, certain pills that heads be outside getting on and, you know, what's out here shaking now, it looked like that. They look like that and they got stamps on them, right? They got the little logos and the hearts and all that Saw the either ors that was all ducking police cars. We found love stamped on a pill that looked like sweethearts. Buyer's market, seller's market, all dependent. Find a target and sell a target on more beginnings. Anyone who's addicted to anything, especially something that'll get you high on an illegal substance, it's all about that beginning, having that restart. A fiend or someone who's addicted to something is always chasing that first time. And that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps that thing going. So buyer's market, seller's market, all dependent. All depending on which side of the fence you on. Some will say, yo, it's a buyer's market. The other side will say, yo, it's a seller's market. You know, so buyer's market, seller's market, all dependent. Find a target and sell a target on more beginnings. Convince this person that's copping more beginnings. Convince them that, yo, this is what you need to continue to chase that first feeling. You're just trying to get a sale off. And that goes for everything. We all customers, right? And we'll get into that later in the album. The same ones and all this mic check 1, 2. So mic check 1, 2 before they kill your lights through your sunroof. Mic check 1, 2 getting on the mic before they kill your lights through your sunroof, right? You out there cruising, you winning, you doing good, whatever it is in life. I'm just saying, get your point off and get your thing off before your time comes, you know? Same rules and all this mic check 1, 2. So mic check 1, 2 before they kill your lights through your sunroof. Fighting for your own kind and praying they applaud you. Floor seat walkthroughs, Autobahn ballrooms, deep pockets with long arms to forewarn you. I had the autobio on repeat like it was on Clue. That whole 4 is a Malcolm X scheme right there. So fighting for your own kind, right? I'm in here fighting for my own kind. I'm fighting for y'all. I'm fighting for heads like-minded on the same type of time and for our culture and our people. Fighting for your own kind and praying they applaud you. Like, y'all hope this is worth it. Going back to the whole hope it was worth it thing. Floor seat walkthroughs. You know the whole story about the Autobahn ballroom, Malcolm X, where he gave his last speech and he was assassinated right there. Floor seat walkthroughs. It was floor seats, sitting in the front, low, everybody's good. Floor seat walkthroughs. Autobahn ballrooms, that's where it went down at. Deep pockets with long arms to forewarn you. If you know the whole, get your hand out my pocket. If you don't know, do the research. Deep pockets with long arms to forewarn you. I had the autobio on repeat like it was on Clue. So deep pockets, long arms, bare arms to forewarn you. Like, yo, don't do that. We here with a certain type of time. And that's just talking about protecting your own. I had the autobio on repeat like it was on Clue. Talking about DJ Clue tapes. So I'm reading the autobio of Malcolm X as much as one would listen to a Clue tape over and over, which is what I also did growing up, right? The Clue tape fanatic. By any means, I speak most for the bystanders. 23andMe, my breed goat, my pride panther. So what I'm saying is I speak most for the bystanders, the ones who were the bystanders to things like that happening, the ones who saw all that happening and was like, wow, they're seeing that. They're just bystanders, right? I relate to them, the ones who was around that and was in that world, whatever that world may be in that time period. By any means, of course, Malcolm X keeping that scheme. By any means, I speak most for the bystanders. 23andMe, my breed goat, my pride panther. You know, 23andMe, the DNA kits that you could take at home to get, you know your background and everything. My breed goat, my pride panther. So I'm just playing on words there too. My breed goat, greatest of all time, my pride panther, because I'm on that type of time. Believe in me like you believe in you, or even more. The scenery is built from the scenic view. But seeing all the ones who made you co-signing and signing the ones you made, the tension get thicker than church Kool-Aid. So what I'm saying there, that's another play of going back to what I spoke about as far as looking at the game, looking at the landscape and being like, damn, this is what they on. And it gets weird when you in this because you might be in a situation where you coming up and then the ones who may have looked up to you or the ones who may have kind of got their handle from you, right? And got their form on their jumper from you, which is a beautiful thing. You're seeing the ones you got your handle and your jumper from, look at them like, damn, I raised them. They moved the way they moved because of me. And the ones that I looked up to is looking at them, but not realizing who I am and what I got. And that goes for anybody. And I think anybody can relate to that if you're in a creative space and just wanting to continue to grow. And that's just kind of a open moment right there, right? The ones who made you co-signing and signing the ones you made. You get, the tension get thicker than church Kool-Aid, and you just want a lane to make the street come alive. Blast holes into the night until she bleeds sunshine. That's a line from Black Star, Common, Respiration, of course. Mos Def on that line. So I just took that, flipped it a little bit, threw it in there because I'm a huge fan. That's one of my favorite records ever. You just want a lane. You just want a lane to make the street come alive. Like, yo, I don't want much. I just want my own lane to be able to get busy and do what I do and get where I'm going to be successful, right? Talking about the music, whatever it is. You just want a lane to make the street come alive. Blast holes into the night until she bleeds sunshine. On a bench with a Dutch like we was chiefing with Nas, going over 5% with all the re-up guys, the irony. So I'm painting the scene of growing up, being on a bench, twisting up the Dutch, park bench like you was chiefing with Nas. That kind of goes to, who Nas is and how he raised us musically, and that type of energy about him and his music reflecting that, especially the older stuff back in the past, and just showing that love and just creating this scene, showing you the scene of what it is. On the bench with a Dutch like we was chiefing with Nas and going over 5% with all the re-up guys. The irony of talking about 5% teachings and all of that, talking about the nation and talking about 5% and talking about that whole type of agenda of what you may feel like we need to be on to progress as black folk. With all the re-up guys, the guys who are involved with re-up, right? And when you talk about re-up, you're talking about percentages. You're talking about the percentage of this and that and getting this off that and turning this into this many and turning 1 into 3 and whatever it may be. So the irony of talking numbers in this lane when they dealing with numbers in that lane. The irony. And every park was the same as long as you got a seat. My fam saw it as growth. I saw it as variety. Growing up, living in Brooklyn, being from Brooklyn and then moving to Queens, my pops moving us to Queens when I was in high school for a better way, getting a house and doing all that. And Queens being my second home without a doubt. But realizing it's the same park benches. I still was hanging out in the park, yo, boom, boom, whatever. So it's the same thing, Every park is the same as long as you got a seat. My fam saw it as growth, so we're trying to do more. I saw it as variety, a Bed-Stuy, Clinton Hill kid with dual citizenship, the South Side in the wing in this bitch forever. South Side being South Jamaica, Queens. So I'm shouting all that out where I grew up at, where I'm from. A Bed-Stuy, Clinton Hill kid with dual citizenship, the South Side in the wing in this bitch forever. Peace and serenity, follow through as it may, and my demeanor being 11238. That's the zip code in my neighborhood, St. James. That's the zip code 11238. The best thing out of my side since Valletta and Gloria kids, while trying to duck all of this coroner shit, talk to me real. Of course, Valletta and Gloria kids, we talking about Big and J. Valletta Wallace, Gloria Carter. The best thing out of my side of Brooklyn, I'm just talking that talk. The best thing out of my side since Valletta and Gloria kids, while trying to duck all of this coroner shit, while trying to stay alive out here. Talk to me real. And it's community service. I'm serving the community of lyricism, serving the community of the listener, serving the community that I'm from, and the people that look to me and look for me to do certain things and speak for us in a certain manner, whether they realize it or not, And that's the breakdown, community service.